Okay, welcome everybody. Welcome to Danny. He looks great. And then also welcome Dr. Jared Bunch. Dr. Bunch is a rhythm specialist here at the Intermountain Medical Center Heart Institute, and he actually was Danny's physician. And so, Danny, what we thought we'd do is if you had anything that you wanted to open with, or do you want to open with questions, whatever you're most comfortable.
Yeah, I mean,
start?
Yeah, I'll just start. I mean, first of all, I just want to thank Mike Williams, obviously, for everything that he did. His knowledge and his experience saved my life, so I owe a lot to him. And I also want to thank the students at Utah State and everyone else for their support and their thoughts and prayers that went into helping me recover and get over this. I can't put it into words what it means to have that many people thinking about you and praying for you. So just wanted to start off with that.
Danny, what do you remember about the practice and what happened?
I mean, I remember pretty much all of practice up until the last little play that we had. We were just getting ready for our next opponent, and it kind of felt like, you know, when you're in bed and you stand up too quick and you get lightheaded. It felt kind of like that, and then just kind of went black, and then the next thing I knew, I just woke up in the hospital. So I don't have very much memory loss.
What did it feel like? Do you remember like the moment when you passed out, or did it just feel like you were passing out?
Just like I said, it just felt like I stood up way too fast, but it was more than that. It was just like multiplied by a lot.
What did it feel like when you woke up in the hospital?
I felt groggy, I guess, and I know there was a lot of people there when I woke up, so thankful for their support and them being there.
It must have been
my family and friends.
It must have been somewhat surreal to wake up and be in the what were some of the thoughts that went through your mind when you wake up and see you're in the hospital room?
I can't really remember that much. Just knowing that I was in a bed and I was hooked up to all this stuff. I figured something had happened, so I wasn't really sure. And then they explained it to me, and I started to remember some stuff that happened.
Were you sore though?
What?
Were you sore?
Not really, actually.
Okay.
No.
How has it been kind of regaining your faculties and getting back up to speed these last couple days?
It's been really good. All the procedures have gone really well, and I'm getting my strength back, and I'm feeling pretty good.
Danny, do you know yet what caused the collapse?
I mean, you can talk to Doc about that, but I don't really know.
Have you had any trouble before? Anything that might have, given you some hint that this might happen, or
No, I haven't.
nothing in your family?
No.
Nothing leading up to even that day in that practice?
No, that day I felt great. It just felt like a normal practice. There were no signs.
What about moving forward? Are you gonna be able to play again? If so, when? How's the prognosis look going forward?
Yeah. Well, I had this defibrillator put in today, and I gotta be in this sling for 3 weeks, and then I'll take it day by day, and hopefully I'll be able to get back out on the court.
Can you explain that defibrillator that was put in? Is that inside your body or on the outside? Or?
Yeah, it's inside my body right here, and what it does is that if whatever happens again happens, then it'll work just like the defibrillator that they used on me the first time that Mike Williams used on me. So it'll just shock right back and get it going again.
When do you think you might be able to go back to campus and rejoin people in Logan?
I'm hoping to be at the game tomorrow, and just be there, and finals week is this week, so I'm not too worried about that. But I gotta stay up on my stuff.
Can you get a doctor's note, maybe?
Yeah, maybe.
What is going to happen with that? Seriously, I mean, that's tough.
I mean, my academic advisor talked to my teachers, and they're really understanding about it, and they just pretty much say whenever you're ready to to make up all the stuff. So
Are you feeling any anxiety about leaving the hospital and getting back?
no, not at all. I feel really good. I feel like normal. So
So
I
what's it
mean-
like to know what you went through and what in 4 days?
I mean, it's really scary, and I just thank God. Actually, I thank God first of all, because everything had to be perfect and in place to have that happen like it did. And there's been so many times in my life that God has had his hand in what happens in my life, so thankful for him.
What has it meant to have your teammates and your family here as you kind of recover, and also know that there's a big community out there supporting you?
Yeah, I mean, I like I said, I can't put it into words how much it means to that everyone's supporting me and thinking about me and praying for me, and so many people, my teammates, my family. I love them all. So
Does it
it's
make
really-
you look at life differently and your future going forward differently?
Yeah, absolutely. Just like God's blessed me so much, so I just feel like I owe him a lot, just to be a good person and continue to get better every day.
The fact that you potentially could play again, right? I mean, there had to be a point before you found that news that you thought maybe you wouldn't play again. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
what's some of the thoughts when you think about that?
Yeah, definitely. I love the game of basketball, and of course, I want to play again. But the thought did go through my mind that maybe I wouldn't be able to play, or it would take a lot longer for me to get back out on the court. But if everything goes right, it seems like I'll have a full recovery.
So much could have gone wrong at that first moment after you collapsed.
Mm-hmm.
Just the fact that everybody seemed to have done everything correctly is pretty miraculous.
Absolutely, I can't deny the hand of God in the whole situation, and I know for a fact that He used people to still have me here. So there's a purpose why I'm here. So
And how do you
Danny-
feel after surgery and everything?
I felt really good, felt fine.
Did you have a conversation with Mike when you woke up, and what was that like?
I just gave him a hug and told him thanks for saving my life. He's a super humble guy. I mean, he's one of the best guys I've ever met. So I'm in debt to him for forever.
Danny, when you woke up, I'm sure it was just a few minutes before you were told what happened. Can you take us back to that moment when they told you what happened and tell us your reaction?
I can't really remember it, to be honest, but just the thought that I there was a big chance that I wasn't gonna make it, or I pretty much died. I mean, it's a crazy thought, and hit me pretty hard about life and how quick it can be over. So
Do they think that, and doctor, maybe you can speak to this a little bit, but he says he had no family history, there were no warning signs as far as he knew. Do you think this is an issue, that, a condition that maybe he was born with, or is it explainable at all?
Well, it's something he was born with the tendency that his heart could do this. And what happened were a few things that occurred at that day that provoked the fast heart rhythm. And so something in somebody that's a very amazing athlete in extreme condition, but if the right things occur at the right time, the heart can become unstable and form these cardiac arrest rhythms, and that's what happened. Fortunately, these things are reversible, and the quick action really took something that was life-threatening, which was and restored a heart rhythm that was normal, that was perfusable, and he did very well. it's a lot of hands in what we call the chain of survival with cardiac arrest. It's early recognition, it's determining that there's no pulse, it's shocking the heart. And then in his case, he was at Logan Emergency Room, and they looked to preserve his brain, preserve his neurologic function, so they cooled his body down so his brain wouldn't swell and he wouldn't have nervous injury. And so many of these steps were done in a very quick and synchronized fashion. And then what happens is he has which I haven't seen in many years of treating cardiac arrest. He has complete restoration of his memory, even short-term memory. We often see this as lost after cardiac arrest for months, and he can remember up to the time he fell. And I just haven't seen that, and it's amazing to me that that's so intact. And he's obviously an extremely talented individual, and so it's nice to have them all back so quickly.
How fast could he be playing basketball? I mean, could he play this year?
Well,
or-
one of the things we had to understand was what was the cause. Was it caused by the basketball playing or exertion? If it was an arrest caused by the basketball exertion or the adrenaline or the stress, then we either have to stop that stress and prevent that stress, or give medicines to prevent it, such as the condition from Hank Gathers, where he had thickening of his heart. The more you stress the heart, the more it obstructs and causes the arrest. So we had to go through a series of steps to understand, would he be vulnerable when he went back and exerted himself fully? And so that was some of the process with that. We had to, and then the other step was, is there steps that we can go through that would reverse this and prevent it again? And so what we found is one, that this was what we consider an idiopathic arrest, or one that we can't fully explain. We actually took the AED that shocked him from Utah State and downloaded the memory, and so we could understand first that it was what we thought it was, and it was. It was a rhythm that causes cardiac arrest, what we call polymorphic ventricular tachycardia and ventricular fibrillation. So we found that it worked appropriately, and the shock was appropriate. And then the next step was looking at what predisposed him to that. And if we couldn't fully treat it and reverse it, then we have to use the one mechanism we have to prevent it from occurring again, and that's a defibrillator. I brought one for you so you can see one. This is what's inside of Danny, and he probably hasn't held this yet. This is a little bit older model. So you can see they're thin and small. And what they do is they watch his heart at all times, and if he goes into these fast rhythms, then it will charge up and deliver a shock, just like the one he had, to restore the rhythm in the heart. Now, these new defibrillators give us an advantage as physicians in that they communicate with us over the phone. So when he goes home to his dorm, if he's been active and has some of these fast rhythms, then he'll be hearing from me that night that something was wrong. But what we found is that we don't have clear evidence that the basketball in itself triggered the fatal rhythm. We know he has a tendency to it, and to have these rhythms now because he underwent an arrest. But because there's a missing link of basketball, I think by all means we'd want him to go back and play. One of the things that we've learned in this field is over the last 3 to 4 years, is we have to be very cautious in taking away activities unless we know the activity itself has caused the fast rhythm. So he has a protective device in. He can only shoot right-handed for about 3 weeks, but after that he can go back to activity. And then we would want him to go back. We'll be watching his heart remotely. We put his heart to more extremes that went on the basketball court yesterday, and his heart did wonderful. So like I said, a lot of times it's 2 or 3 pieces coming together, and so we can minimize some of those pieces. With the defibrillator, we feel comfortable that he can go back and play.
He was talking about